48 million Americans get food poisoning every year. Most of it doesn't happen at restaurants, it happens at home. I spent a night in college in the bathroom as a result of the dining hall that I would rather not remember in detail. Something had been mishandled somewhere between the kitchen and my plate, and my body made sure I knew about it. At the time, I chalked it up to bad luck. Looking back, it was almost certainly preventable. And this isn't a rare experience. 48 million Americans get a foodborne illness every year. 128,000 end up hospitalized. 3,000 die. The part that surprises most people is that a significant portion of these cases happen in private homes, not restaurants. Your kitchen, your cutting board, your refrigerator that has been running a little warm for months. So today, I want to go through the myths that most people believe that are actually wrong and the basics that genuinely matter. And I want to make the case for why cooking at home more is still one of the best things you could do for your health, as long as you are doing it safely. Let me start with the ones that will actually surprise you. The first one is the sniff test. If it smells fine, it must be fine. That is completely wrong. The bacteria that cause food poisoning, Salmonella, E. coli, Listeria, none of them affect the look, smell, or taste of food. Something can smell completely normal and still put an entire family in the hospital. The sniff test is not a safety check. It never was a safety check. The second one is blaming the last thing you ate. When most people get sick, almost everyone immediately thinks about the meal they ate right before the symptoms started. But depending on the pathogen, symptoms can appear anywhere from 1 hour to several weeks after exposure. The restaurant you blamed was probably innocent. The real culprit was likely something that happened days earlier. Third, rinsing raw chicken. A lot of people think rinsing chicken under the tap cleans it. It does the opposite. Rinsing raw chicken doesn't remove bacteria. What it does is splash contaminated water droplets more than 50 centimeters in every direction onto your hands, your counter, your utensils, your walls. You're not cleaning the chicken. You're spreading salmonella around your kitchen. Fourth, the idea that hot food needs to cool completely before going in the refrigerator. This one persists because most people worry about putting hot containers in the fridge. But if you wait for food to fully cool at room temperature, you're almost certainly going to blow past the 2 hour safety window. The right move is to divide hot food into smaller, shallow containers and put it in the refrigerator right away. It will chill faster and stay within the safe window. And the fifth one, the idea that cooking kills everything. Some bacteria produce heat resistant toxins. Staph is one of them. Cooking kills the bacteria, but the toxin it already produced stays in food. This is why how you store food before cooking it matters just as much as how you cook it. One thing I started doing years ago that changed how I think about kitchen safety is keeping a raw meat hand and a dry hand when I'm cooking. Once I touch raw meat, that hand touches nothing else until it is washed. The other hand handles the spice jars, the cabinet handles, the cutting board. It sounds like a small thing, but when you really think about how many surfaces you touch while cooking and how easily bacteria transfers, it becomes obvious why this matters. Most people are cross contaminating their entire kitchen without realizing it. I go deeper on this every 5 days. The full post is at evolutionofwellness.com. The link is in the description. The CDC and USDA both organize safe food handling around 4 steps: clean, separate, cook, and chill. Let me walk through each one with the details that actually make a difference. Clean. Wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds before handling food, after touching raw meat, and after touching your phone. Your phone carries more bacteria than most kitchen surfaces. Put it down while you cook, and stop using a sponge to wipe down counters after handling raw meat. Research shows that a single kitchen sponge can harbor more bacteria than there are people on Earth. Bacteria grow in sponges because they never fully dry out. The better options are paper towels with a disinfectant spray for after raw meat, or switching from a sponge to a kitchen brush, which research shows dries faster and is significantly more hygienic. When you do use a spray, let it sit on the surface for the contact time on the label before wiping. Spraying and immediately wiping defeats the whole purpose. Separate. Cross contamination is one of the most common causes of foodborne illness at home, and one of the easiest to prevent. Use separate cutting boards for raw meat and produce. Store raw meat on the lowest shelf of your refrigerator so juices cannot drip onto other food. Never put cooked food back on the plate that held raw meat. And at the grill, use two sets of tongs, one for raw meat going on, one for cooked meat coming off. This is the grilling mistake that most people make without ever thinking about it. The tongs that touch raw chicken going onto the grill have no business touching the cooked chicken coming off. Cook to temperature. Color is not reliable. Pink doesn't always mean undercooked. Brown does not always mean safe. A meat thermometer is the only way to know. Poultry needs to reach 165 degrees. Ground meat, 160. Whole cuts of beef, pork, and lamb, 145 with a 3-minute rest. Fish and shellfish, 145. Leftovers need to hit 165 when reheated. A thermometer costs less than $10. It is the most underused food safety tool in the average home kitchen. Chill. Bacteria multiply rapidly between 40 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Under those conditions, they can double every 20 minutes. Perishable food should never sit in that range for more than 2 hours. If it's above 90 degrees outside, that window drops to 1 hour. Keep your refrigerator at or below 40 degrees and your freezer at 0. And don't assume your appliance is accurate without checking it with an inexpensive thermometer. I want to end with something that matters beyond food safety rules. Cooking at home more often is genuinely one of the best health habits available to almost anyone at almost any budget. You control what goes into the food. You build a skill that pays off every day. And doing it with the people around you, whether that's a partner, kids, friends, a backyard barbecue, creates something that ordering takeout never will. Food is one of the oldest forms of human connection. The goal isn't to make cooking feel like a hazmat operation. The goal is to build a few simple habits that become so automatic so you can enjoy cooking more and worry about it less. You don't have to be a food scientist to cook safely at home. You just have to stop doing the things that seem fine but aren't. If this was useful, subscribe for more. I post new content every week. The full breakdown is on my blog at evolutionofwellness.com and on Substack. Both links are in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.